12:22 p.m. Welcome. We're gonna have roll call. This one you got present. Mr. Oscar Lopez is present. Ms. Eva Montoya is present. Ms. Sara Perez is present, and people from the city of Laredo. Approval of the minutes for September the 8th. You should all have copies of the minutes of the last meeting. If we can have an option to approve as presented. I'll make a motion to approve as presented. Second by Ms. Eva Montoya. Everybody in favor to accept as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries. Minutes accepted as presented. Citizen comments. There's no citizens present. I don't know if there's anybody online, but we'll have the comments open until the end of the meeting as well. Treasurer's report, financial update on Laredo Housing Finance Corporation, account deposits, expenses, and available balance.
I apologize, we don't have the most recent statements, but I'll still get it for you shortly.
Okay, then
we can skip that item right now.
that item. Finance Corporation status report by Capstone Real Estate Services Inc. with discussion and possible action on Hamilton Apartments repairs, improvements, leases, and management. Ms. Sarah?
Yes, well, you have the variance report for September, the one that we had brought for the last meeting. We don't have an October one because we just converted our accounting system to RealPage accounting. So they haven't finalized the October books. Of course, like with any conversion, there's been glitches that they're trying to resolve. I know Sonia had told you she would bring you a balance sheet. She isn't present, but she did give me some balances that she told me to report to you all. We do have 180,491 in our replacement reserve account, and then operating cash in the bank, we have $84,942. So she told me to report that. And then we have the variance report. The variance report and what we have, I don't know. I can't explain why. There are some line items that don't even, basically the variance report is just operating monthly expenses. So our variance report for total income for the month of September, or occupancy, we're trending at 96 right now, and of course rent increases by compliance on May 16th that are being brought to that rent as we renew the renewals. Total repair and maintenance, we were over by 4,304, and that was, we had to order extra supplies for make-readies, AC supply, plumbing, so we were over that the month of September. Total monthly operating services was in line with budget. We were over by $11. Total utilities, we were positive by 2,960, and that's mainly due to the electricity being lower than budgeted amount. Add-on promotion, we were over by $992, and that's because we put a lot of stuff, a lot of advertisement in place. We have Sprout Facebook postings, we have the resident referral program in place, we have apartments.com, so we were over. General and administrative, we were positive, and that was because we have less overtime for our maintenance staff for weekend calls and after-hour calls, emergency calls. Taxes and insurance, we were positive. Miscellaneous, we had a resident leave with a balance on account. Resident was in the nursing home and then passed away. So everything is reflective. Capital, we were over by 11,067, and the purchases included the purchase of 2 tilt trucks for trash disposal. We had to repair we had deficiencies to the alarm system that we had to correct to bring it up to code. Repairs to the HVAC chiller system, and we had some plumbing issues. So 2 refrigerators and 2 stoves were purchased for make-ready units. So we were over 11,067. That was expenses for September.
Oscar and Eva, what we discussed in the last meeting basically was trying to see if we can transfer the asset to the city of Laredo. And the main concern is that if we look at the budgets, we are negative 113,000. So if this continues, we're gonna be in deep trouble within the next year and a half. So we're working with the city to see what would be required in order, if they would accept the asset, and what would be the requirements to start the process. We had a luncheon with Councilman Cigarroa just to let her know what the plans are, and she was very positive about it. Tina and Mr. Jorge Gonzalez hosted a luncheon for her. So we're gonna try to start the discussion and see how we can transfer the asset at the end of the day. Sonia was here for Capstone, and I told her the problem is that the budgets that we've had the last couple of years, it's always the same thing. The budget is positive, and at the end of the year, we're always negative. So we had requested for her to give us a more realistic budget. Supposedly this year's budget was more realistic, but we're exactly where we were at last year and the previous year. So I don't know what your thoughts are, if you have any comments, but that's what we're trying to do at this time.
No, I think in the past also I have kind of mentioned that that's probably the best direction that we can take.
Yeah, I would agree also. Maybe that there'll be more, someone that knows more about, maintaining and the building and more professional work.
But the city's doing it right now in other projects.
Correct.
Yeah, they do have the people that've been doing it for a while. So I think it's on our best interest and the city's best interest and the people that live in Hamilton's best interest for that to happen.
I don't think they're gonna be like, wow, it's merged, it's gonna be like reducing income, or we're gonna be like positive at one point soon, but at least we know, and you guys have a little bit more control of the numbers, or real numbers. So what's happening, we have more control. So I'd say that's basically what the goal should be in trying to transfer.
Yeah, and a lot of the administrative stuff that has been burdening the board that shouldn't be really, tasked to the board. We would be able to take over a lot of the administrative day-to-day decisions that sometimes even Capstone has, and right now there is no, structured like that. It all has to come to the board, and that's not the best.
We're not on it like on a daily basis, and we don't really know.
Yeah. So this would allow us to do it a little bit more.
Tina, what would be the next step that?
So the next step, if you want to open item number, open number 8. Item 8 is review, discuss, and possible action by board on request to dissolve the Laredo Housing Finance Corporation. Now, in that opening that item, we presented you, which was discussed in I believe in one of our last meetings, if not on the September 8th meeting. I believe you remember, there was a motion by the board to ask our legal counsel to assist the board in preparing a letter from your board to the city manager to see what would be our next steps in possibly, either dissolving or transferring over assets, or a little bit of all. So if you see, what we provided you was a letter that if you approve today, I could present to city manager, and from there, I could bring you back what city manager's responses, and of course, that would require some council action as well. And just so you are aware, we will have council, the next scheduled council meeting is for January 17, I believe. There's a meeting in January and there's 2 in February. So 17, yeah, so
18.
January
We're on to
18.
17.
Yeah, so January 18 would be the next council meeting where we would possibly put our first action there. In the past, just so that I advise the board, we've had other boards that dissolve, and actually a few years ago, municipal housing was actually governed by a board. They were a nonprofit organization. The only difference there is that the nonprofit was actually employed by city employees. So, and then they managed, of course, around 500, back then it was about 560 units. They're at 611 now, but they were at 580 units. And so the board decided to also, because they had similar projects, something like the Hamilton that they had, embarked on and got in financing for. When that, met its purpose, the board decided to dissolve and revert all assets and responsibility back to the city. So then the city took over, in that aspect, they took all over all the units. So this is something definitely that has been done in the past, and of course, so if you approve this letter, I'll present it to management, and then I can report on the next meeting what would be our next steps.
Jorge, I sent you a copy of the letter via text in case you want to review it.
I'll review it. And I know I can't vote, but I'm in favor of moving forward. And I can't vote.
If, I already read the whole letter, and I'll make a motion to send the letter to City Council. If we can have a second. Second by Ms. Eva Montoya. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Everybody against. Motion carries to send the letter to
First-
City Council.
For city manager.
I'm sorry, to City Manager, Mr. Robert Eads.
And maybe when, we can attend that meeting at the board, at the city council as a group.
Of course.
Maybe we have requested, so they know that we're fully engaged.
Yes, of course.
Maybe Mr. Eads will let us know when and if he's planning to present it to council, then we can
Yes.
make arrangements.
I'll definitely put all that together. I'll put a timeline of how it would have to. It's usually the solution might require 2 council meetings. So really, the first one is for comments and public input, and then the second would be the final reading. So we could definitely attend. Yeah, and maybe we can attend the first one because it's the intro. It's the one that can engage more. If someone has any public comments, that would be.
I would like
Yeah.
to go.
Well, we will definitely keep you updated on that.
Let me go back and just finish with that.
Maybe, and does that count, who's the one that are authorized?
I believe it's Mr. Jorge Gonzalez and myself.
Yes.
I don't know if there's any other authorized signatures.
I think that those were the last 2. I'll double check. We can double check. Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes?
do you recall? But I believe on the bank account for the corporation, it's yourself and Mr. Zuniga, the only authorized signatures. Is that correct?
I believe so. I can double check tomorrow, but yeah.
Okay.
We had him because he was the president, and then when they transferred me to the president, they.
Yeah, so it may be both of us, or maybe just that. I don't know. I can check tomorrow.
Okay, going back to to line item number 6 on capstones. Do we have any questions, other comments? Do you know by when she would be able to send us a balance sheet?
Actually, she was talking to cash management this morning, and they said because of the conversion, just to give them a little bit of time so they could get it. This is what they said. To just give them a little time to get it all done, and it would be the cash flow report.
Mr. Juan Gonzalez just entered the room, Jorge, just for you to know.
Hello, Jorge.
Sí.
Okay, so if there's no other comments or questions on capstone, a motion to accept the report as presented. Mr. Eva Montoya, second. Mr. Juan Gonzalez. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries to take the report as presented. Update by Custom Real Estate Services Inc. on commercial leases.
Nothing. I've emailed Mr. Rodriguez. Nobody's shown any interest in the restaurant. I did ask Mr. Pena to consider that grocery store that he wanted to, that kind of he had in mind, and he said that this is not the time. That he would need to think about it.
Then line item number 8, Mr. Gonzalez, just for you to know, we just voted, but I would still like for you to review the letter. Basically what we're trying to do is, it's a letter to the city manager to consider dissolving Laredo Housing Finance Corporation and for the city to take over the Hamilton housing.
As discussed before.
I agree.
Do you want to go back to the treasurer's report?
Yes, on the treasurer's report, we just got the copies for the Falcon International Bank bank statement. Ms. Tina, you want to go over it?
Yes, so what you have in front of you is the most recent statement that we received, so it's the October statement. The October statement has a beginning balance of $85,805.79, and your ending balance is $85,857.63. There was a small deposit made of some earnings from some outstanding credits that you still receive of about $44. So that is all I have to report.
And make a motion to accept as presented. If we can have a second.
No second.
Second by Mr. Juan Gonzalez. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries to accept as presented.
And just one of your last items is number 9. We would like to present you a yearly calendar. This is based on the last request of, we're still going with every other month for the month of 2022. Now, keep in mind, I will bring back to you all after I present your letter to management, I will bring back to you if there has to be a special meeting or if the January 19th would be good for you to vote on anything else that is needed. but tentatively, this could be our scheduled meetings.
I'll send you a picture of it, Jorge.
Thank you.
Just for you to review and see if those dates are okay with you.
Okay.
We kept the same kind of schedule, Wednesdays, noon.
That's fine.
And this is if,
In case we need the whole, yeah, correct. Right now, I don't have an estimate of how long the process would take. Usually it's 2 meetings, but if there's any other questions or concerns that legal might have, if we have to sign some other documents, assumptions of loans and stuff like that, it might just require a few more meetings. And I'll give you all that.
Motion to accept as presented is on the floor by Ms. Eva Montoya. Can we have a second? Mr. Juan Gonzalez. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries to accept the calendar as presented. New business comments? If not, we will close citizen comments at this time. If there is any through the internet, I don't think there's any.
No.
Okay, so we'll close citizen comments at this time. And I'll make a motion to adjourn. We can have a second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Everybody against? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.